Today, we're doing a deep dive into an invention that, it really did rewrite human civilization, the spring-driven mechanical clock. We've got a great stack of sources here covering the whole journey from these very early portable watches all the way up to John Harrison's maritime chronometers. So our mission today is to unpack the key technical genius behind them, the massive global problems they solved, and the profound impact they had on everything.
It really is a remarkable story of ingenuity. And it all starts with a huge technical challenge, right? How do you take a massive fixed weight-driven clock?
One that runs on gravity.
Exactly. How do you take that and make it portable?
And that first leap, that happens surprisingly early. I think our sources say around 1400 in Europe, spring-powered clocks started showing up. And then by the early 1500s, you have craftsmen in Germany, like Peter Henlein, miniaturizing them into what they called the Nürnberger eye.
But those early versions, they were more like unreliable novelties. If a pendulum clock works because gravity gives it a steady rhythm, what replaces gravity when the clock is being bounced around?
Right.
The answer was the balance wheel and, more critically, the balance spring. This tiny coiled wire, invented by Christian Huygens in 1675, provides a really precise restorative force.
So it's like giving the watch its own internal steady heartbeat.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's totally independent of gravity.
And that one tiny addition completely changed the game, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Early spring clocks could be off by 30 minutes a day. Wildly inaccurate.
Wow.
But once you integrate the balance spring, that error just plummets to around 10 minutes a day. And suddenly, portable timekeeping is actually practical.
And that practicality, that sets the stage for what was maybe the greatest challenge of the age, figuring out longitude at sea.
Which is where the British government's 20,000-pound Longitude Act prize comes in.
And our hero, the clockmaker John Harrison.
Yes. Harrison's quest is just monumental. His first attempt, H1, in 1735, it was a beast. A 75-pound machine.
75 pounds.
And it used these interconnected pendulums to try and cancel out the ship's rocking motion. It was an over-engineered failure.
Right.
But the breakthrough was H4, which he finished in 1761. Instead of fighting the motion with sheer size, he focused on precision, on miniaturization. H4 was basically the size of a large pocket watch.
So he went from a 75-pound machine to something you can hold in your hand? That's astonishing. But how did he keep it accurate, especially with the wild temperature swings you get on a ship?
He basically had to become a material scientist. He used things like jewel bearings to cut down on friction and gold and silver parts. But crucially, he used bimetal strips. So layers of copper and steel bonded together that would expand and contract to automatically adjust for temperature. It was like a tiny built-in thermostat.
Incredible.
And the results, well, they speak for themselves. On the 1761 voyage to Jamaica, H4 was only 45 seconds slow after 2 whole months at sea.
Which just blew the requirements of the Longitude Act out of the water.
Completely. It proved that a reliable clock, not the stars, was the key to safe navigation.
So, okay, Harrison solves global navigation. But the societal impact goes so far beyond just shipping, right? It seems like this one invention kicks off 2 revolutions at once.
Exactly. The first is the Industrial Revolution. Before this, labor was measured in natural cycles, sunrise to sunset.
Right, day units.
But the clock allows labor to be segmented into standardized hours and minutes. This is what makes the synchronized factory production line possible. It's the entire foundation for time-based wages.
And the second revolution is, well, the one we'd expect. The boom in maritime trade.
Of course. With chronometers, captains could take shorter, safer, more efficient routes. And that fundamentally fueled global commerce and the growth of empires.
And all of this filters down into daily life. We all shift from following natural time, the sun, to this very regulated machine time. Schedules, factory whistles, fixed meal times.
It's a total paradigm shift.
And what I found so remarkable in the sources was how quickly the personal watch became a commodity. Not just for the rich. It says here between 1770 and 1812, something like 40% of the poor in England owned a watch.
Which is astonishing. It shows you it wasn't a luxury item. It became an essential tool for participating in this new timed economy.
The cultural necessity.
And it's important to remember that the legacy of all this mechanical ingenuity is broader than just clocks. The need for this extreme precision, the high-tolerance machining, that pioneered manufacturing techniques that were critical for, say, the early automobile and aviation industries.
That makes so much sense. So we moved from defining time by gravity with the pendulum to defining it by springs, which completely restructured our economy. Now, we largely define time by atoms, synchronized globally by satellite.
A whole new level.
So, if that shift from gravity to springs created the modern industrial world, what fundamental parts of our society are changing now that we all rely on this near perfect global timekeeping? What freedom or maybe what discipline have we gained by achieving this kind of temporal perfection?